Now I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you how you can take your drawing into Photopea and add some color if you want to. Okay, so first of all, when I brought Betsabe's drawing in, it's turned sideways. All right, so the first thing we need to do is rotate it. To do that, you go up to the menu bar here and you're going to go to Image and you will go to let's see, transform, okay, and then we're going to go to rotate 90 degrees and we need to go counterclockwise, so that way, okay. Also, when you take your final picture, now Betsabe probably just took this as a document of, you know, progress. Okay, so it's a little bit off. They were holding the camera so that there's a little bit of perspective distortion. So it looks like it's kind of going, the edges are not parallel, but they're kind of like this. Now you can fix that though, okay? And you can crop things. Again, Betsabe probably didn't mean this as their final photo anyways. But to fix it, I'm going to first of all duplicate this layer. You guys can right click and duplicate the layer. That's probably easier. And now I'm going to go back to Edit Transform. And I'm going to go to Warp. Wait, not warp, sorry, distort. Not warp, but distort. Okay, now I'm going to take this corner where the parallel line is going a little off and I'm pulling it out, and notice it's leaving everything else in place. So I have fixed the perspective issue there. And over here, I don't know if that's a perspective issue or if that's just like the page curling. So I'm going to push the check mark, okay? And then I'm going to go to edit, you know what, no, I'm going to crop. Okay, I'm going to crop it. The crop tool, I don't know if we've used it yet. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tools down. The crop tool is going to let me cut out a little bit of the picture. Okay, so I'm going to, you want it on free crop as opposed to fixed ratio or fixed size. I mean, you could use those other ones if you want a fixed size. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, Control minus. We'll do that so you can see the edges a little bit better. I'm going to take my cursor, go here, and drag this across. And now, if I cut this, though, I'm cutting into their drawing, so maybe I'm not going to do that. Okay, so there are a couple other things we could do. This is the eyedropper tool. I'm going to, the eyedropper tool lets you choose, select a color anywhere in the picture. So if I click here, I get a darker gray. If I click over here, I get a lighter gray. It's going to match the gray of, even though the paper appears white to us, it's actually gray. Okay, so I selected this color. It comes up over here, and I'm going to use that as my brush tool. I'm using the bracket tools to the right of the letter P to make my brush bigger, and I'm going to put the hardness of the brush down to 0. Okay, so now I'm just going to fill that in. Voila, it's done. Command 0 or Control 0 for you guys will fit the screen. Okay, so now that I've straightened everything out and made the edges look nice and clean, the next thing I can do is add a blank layer. So down here at the bottom of the layers palette, you can add a blank layer. Okay, there are a lot of different ways we could handle this, but I'm going to go with the brush tool, and you can try different brushes. I'm going to start with the soft edged brush. It's really important that you do this on your own blank layer, okay? And I'm going to choose a color for the shoes. Any suggestions for the main color? I'm going to guess that we're going to go with a yellow over here for the flower because it looks like a sunflower to me. What color do you think I should make the main part of the shoes?
Like a light green.
A light green? Okay.
I don't know. I just remember their idea board, and there was just a lot of red, so I was gonna suggest red.
Okay. All right. Well, either one would work, and we can probably work some light green into. But yeah, we'll give it a try on red. I'm going to go with a darker red. All right. And now this is nice because, hey, if I don't like the color, all I have to do is get rid of it. Now, I do have a soft edged brush right now, and all I have to do is kind of start filling this in. If I want it to be kind of a crisp edge, you know, I could take one of my selection tools and I could select it. You know what? Let me try. I'm going to try, oops. I'm going to try the magic wand tool and see if this works. In order to use a selection tool like that, though, I have to be on the background layer. I'm going to select, ooh, did you see that? I clicked in the middle of that space, and because Betsabe has such a clean line and there's no break in the line, it easily selected that. Okay, so now I have the ability to go back in with even a giant brush. I can do this super quickly and fill it in. Now, I kind of like the fading here and there. I might go back in even with a darker color. I'm going to make my brush a little smaller and try to add some shading. Okay, so you can make it look less flat that way if you add different values of the same color. And remember the values, like here's the brightest red. When we go down this way, it's getting darker because you're adding black. When you go this way, it's adding white. And down the middle is making it less saturated. Okay, so there, you know, that is going to make it fairly easy. I'm going to go to select, deselect, and then again, now, oh, I made a mistake though. Does anyone see what I did wrong? I painted on the picture, which, you know, I could do, but you know, it's going to be a lot better if I paint on the layer, the blank layer above. So let me try this. I'm going to go to edit cut and see how that looks. Okay, I'm going to do that and then edit paste. Okay, and there it is. Okay, so now it's on its own layer and I can kind of get rid of this other layer for now. Okay, now I'm going to select, deselect. Oh, it's already deselected. Okay, so I could go through with the magic wand tool. Whoops, Command D. I have to go, but remember when you're doing the magic wand tool, you're going to want to go onto the background. Now, I'm going to take, I think it was JD's suggestion. It might, I'm just going to see what it looks like. We could, of course, change this. I'm going to use the brush again. Okay, kind of fade that in. Okay, and it even, like, it didn't select the little dots, so I could go back in possibly and do that, fix that later. Now, on the, let's see, so Control D also deselects. Did I do it again? Darn it. I did it again. This time I'm going to go back because I didn't do that much brushing. Okay, I'm going to go to Magic Wand. Okay, so when you're doing this, guys, don't do what I did twice. You select on the background, but then you have to go up to the main, to the blank layer. And now I'm going to try again. There we go. And of course, I could add some other values or colors in too. All right, and then I could try doing something like this. To get the flower, since I have the edge of the flower selected here, let me show you. Whoops, wrong one. Okay, let me use my hand tool. I'm going to move this over. I can go to select inverse. Okay, and now everything except like the green part is protected. It's not selected. Okay, so now I can go with yellow, kind of a golden, I want a golden yellow. Something like that. All right, I'm gonna go to my brush tool, make this brush tiny. Now I could also, like on some of these selections, you could definitely, you know, use the gradient tool if you have the whole thing selected. Right now I couldn't do that because of the way I have it selected. So I could go through, do something like this. One thing, now I am losing a lot of the lines. I could try using a blending mode. Okay, now when I put darken, notice that all the lines are coming through. So over here, instead of being on normal, if I go to darken or overlay, you can try any, well, that changes it completely, but you can blend your color in different ways. Okay, and that is, these are called blending modes, and they're over here at the top of the layers palette. Okay, so they're all going to look a little bit different, so please feel free to play with those. And you can, there's nothing saying you could put all the different colors on different layers if you wanted to blend them together in different ways. Okay, and some of these are going to change the color. All right, I'm going to go with, I liked multiply, looks good to me. Okay. Okay, so basically it would take time, and you know what? If we're doing something like that, you might need even more time, right, to really do it. There's one more thing I want to, so does anyone have questions about this method? Okay, so remember, to make it easy on yourself, if you make your drawing lines really dark, you go to the background copy, you use the magic wand tool, and as long as you don't have shading, it selects it. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the lettering on a new blank layer. Choose a color for the lettering. I'm just going to randomly choose something. And, you know, oh, wait, maybe I'm going to try the gradient tool here. So I'm going to start with this blue and then go to a super dark blue. Maybe make this one a little bit lighter so there's more of a difference. Okay, and now watch this. If I use my gradient, I'm going to click and drag across the letter and it puts the gradient in. All right, so maybe, I love this idea. So what do you guys think? I want to hear from you guys as far as coloring it, getting some color in there. Let's do it. But what do you guys see? Is this making sense to you? Can you?
Yeah, I think it's easier. Just
Okay.
like in case you don't know which colors you want on the shoe.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and then I want to show you one more cool thing. Okay, so let's say you want to put a pattern on your shoe. Okay, that from a photo. All right, so I'm going to open a photo, file, open, and I'm going to go, let's see. Well, I've got, let's see, I've got something, double exposure profile. Sorry, I'm looking for something. You know what? I'm just going to go with something from here. All right, let's take this sunset picture. Okay, I'm going to take this sunset picture. Okay, and I'm going to, now this is a different technique. So I'm going to use the move tool and I'm going to put it over the top, except I have it, right now I'm going to turn off the color layer. Whoops. Come on. Okay, so my color layer is up here. That's why it is showing up. So I'm going to turn that one off so we can kind of just see this. Also, the picture is giant compared to, here, let me Command minus, and then I'm going to go to edit, and I'm going to go to transform, free transform. I'm going to hold the shift key to keep it proportional. This is stuff we did during the artist trading card. Okay, so I'm going to put this over the shoe. Okay, now I'm going to make it bigger. And this probably is not the right picture to do this, but so I can take this and take the blending mode. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. And I can get different effects by adding a picture. Now I can also take that picture and move it up. So let's say I wanted to have the sunset on this. Instead, I could do that. So I could, you know, again, you just go down the line on these blending modes and you can try, see what it does, you know, to the picture. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the darkened one. Okay, here's one last thing I'm going to show you. Okay, now I'm going to turn this off for a second and I'm going to go down to the shoe. This time I'm going to use the quick selection tool. All right, the quick selection tool, as long as I stay within the boundaries, let me make sure I have it. Okay. As long as I stay within the boundaries of the shoe, it should work. What is going on? Nothing's happening. That's weird. Let me try that. Oh, maybe it's because I didn't have the option on new. All right. Is that working? That is strange. Okay. Sometimes Photopea gets weird. Okay, so let's say, now this would take a really long time to select the whole thing. I'm going to select it. Ooh, none of my tools are working right now. All right. I'm going to close up. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's try that again then. Seems to be working again. Sometimes there's a lag and you think, oh my gosh, nothing was working and it just needs a second to catch up. So this time, again, I'm going to use the quick selection tool. All right, so I'm going to click. Okay, it's not working again. Okay, try. Let me try this one again, the polygonal lasso tool. Should have kept it while I could, while I had it for a second there. Sometimes you need a little patience. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to give this a try really quickly. I'm not going to do a very careful job of outlining it. I'm going to just try to do it as quickly as I can. So just, you get the gist. When if you were to select this, you would try to do a much neater job of selecting it. And I believe that the quick selection tool would actually work very well for you, which I can try and show you another time when Photopea is working better. Okay. All right, I could, up here you can add to and subtract from. So for example, here where I went off quite a bit, I can go around and subtract from that. We can talk about that some other time. Okay, so I have this selection made. Now I'm going to go over to my sunset layer. Okay, I'm going to turn it on. Okay, and now when I have that selection, if I add a mask, so there's something down here called a layer mask. I can click on that and ta-da! Okay, so you can add a picture. Once you have a mask, if you want to, you can go back with a brush. The mask is a really cool thing, and I don't know if we've used them or not, but with masking, it allows me to, for example, go back in. Like I'm using the black brush. If I have the mask selected and I use the black brush, it's going to let me cut into the layer. If I switch to white on top, it brings it back. So it's not like an eraser tool. It's like, oops, I had dark gray. It allows you to erase, but then also if you decide, no, that's not good, I don't want to do that, then you can go back and bring it back. All right, so more ways of adding color to your shoes and patterns and stuff. All right, make sure it would be great if you could save yours as a PSD, okay, so that you save all the layers. If you cannot, try to get as far as you can, and then next time you can add another. If you can only save as a JPEG, you're going to go to File, Export as JPEG, make sure it's 100% quality, save. You can drag these onto your desktop. Okay, and then when I open the JPEG next time, okay, I'm going to open from computer. I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to look for the JPEG. There's the PSD. Sorry, looking for the JPEG. Let's see. Oh well, I'm going to open the PSD. If I opened it as a JPEG, it would look like this. And just it would be one layer. So then, as long as I did everything okay, well, the first time I could add another layer on top and then start painting or start adding again. I just can't move what I already did. So if you want to save at multiple different pictures, you could save things at different places in history too, to have different versions of it. All right, so that is it as far as this goes. Let me close up Photopea and stop my recording. Whoops. Oh, looks like the